Of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com. Bum, 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 bum.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Tony Basilio welcoming you to another edition. It's absolutely, completely outstanding. I am bowing my head as I say thy name because, well, Levi Clark's going to join us. I love that guy. I think he's going to be a great player here. For it, not again it. I'm glad to see him have a little bit of a bounce back here. But the great Dr. Sean Sinclair's in the house today. Cinco, how we doing?
Don, we're doing great. Sky over here in Blount County is blue with puffy white clouds. I thought my toes were starting to web over the past couple of days. So I'm glad everything's getting a little dry over here, and it's always a pleasure and a privilege to be on with you and Brian and Coach Brown, and you got a stacked and packed, as you like to say, lineup today. So just glad to be part of the outside looking in, my friend.
Well, and let me hit the reset button here because, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Wednesday edition. Yours truly, Tony Basilio, in the hot seat today. Coming up in a mere matter of seconds, Levi Clark is going to join us. Tennessee freshman sensation. And I'm looking forward to visiting with him on our Rather and Kittrell Capital Management World Champs Wednesday. It has been a lot of fun getting to know these guys as the season has gone along. And, you know, Sean and Bri, I've just sort of come to the conclusion that this season is what it is. It's like Doris Day City around here. Que sera, whatever will be, will be. This team certainly has enough to make a bunch of noise in the postseason, and this team certainly has enough to get beat and go home in a couple games, Sean. So I'm not sure it's fair to hold these guys to the standard of previous teams. I mean, look, the old saying is you can't get blood from a stone, and this ball club, Sean, just has a lot of flaws, but they are still playing hard, and there's something to be said for that.
I agree with you. If you take a look at, I like what you just said. By what standard? If you take a look at the past 4 or 5 national Omaha champions, several of them petered out, didn't make the tournament, certainly didn't repeat. and our record, is above of those teams, if I'm not mistaken. So, is it what we're used to? No. Are they still a good team? Yes. However, regardless of what your lineup looks like, I think another standard should be that you play proper baseball. And with all due respect, whoever is listening on the program, it's fine over at Tennessee. I mean, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. It's crap baseball for the most part. I mean, come on, it is.
They know that.
And what's that?
Those guys know that. That's the thing about it.
And that's not an indictment. That's just an observation. So, it's is it one of those years? Maybe. Yep. Are the breaks going against us? Maybe.
Yes.
But you can't be a serious team when you're giving up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stolen bases a game. You can't be a serious team when you're booting the ball all over the infield. You can't be a serious team when you don't tag up when you should tag up. You're not a serious team when you can't field a throw from the catcher. And you're not a serious team when you're grooving 0-2 pitches to average players and watching the ball go out. Again, I'm not criticizing. Those are observations that anybody can see. So, do they have talent? Yes, they do. Are they lacking the superstar with the cape? Aside from Liam Doyle, I think they are missing that.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean they can't go far. I've said it before. I've only seen one team, and they're way underperforming. I've only seen one team with more talent than Tennessee, and that's Texas A&M. And they may not even make the playoffs.
Yep.
Or the tournament. So hey, all you really want is an opportunity. We went to Clemson and then Southern Miss, or vice versa, and made it to Omaha, we will likely have to go travel to make it, but we can make it. And I'm looking forward to see what these guys do, because I hope they have some pride. I hope there's something in wearing that tee. I'm hoping there's people can say whatever they want. The crowd's not the reason. The fans are not the reason for this record. And the fans will be right there. If it's not in the stadium,
fans are
at
going
home,
to travel.
they'll be right on the couch next to me, cheering them on.
Well, and our fans are going to travel with the team. If they go to West Virginia, I bet W. Lynn makes that trip. It's a trip he's wanted to make for a long time. For the 6th straight season under Tony Vitello, Tennessee's won 40 games. 40 games is an accomplishment. Last year's team won 60 overall, which is just like otherworldly, all-time great. But 40 wins for 6 straight years. And when you have and this is kind of a down year. It is what it is to this point. Now, these guys can catch fire. And, and all that needs to be said. They certainly have the wherewithal to catch fire. I'm not counting on it, but we come back. Levi Clark joins. We'll get to know him better. I love these Wednesday visits that we have with these guys. And another one commences. And then later on in the hour, Watson Brown is going to join. And I want to get Watson to talk about 2 things. One, Joey Football's here. What are they doing with Joey Football? How are they going to do this? Because they've got to cross the diamond with the pearl, turn on the whirl, and turn the whirl around. And they do not have a lot of time to do it. The second thing that I want to get into with Watson Brown is Dante Thornton not throwing shade on Tennessee. I mean, beyond shade on a podcast talking about Tennessee's offense. And I'm just going to ask out loud, could this be a reason why we're having trouble attracting top flight, and I mean top flight, wide receivers? And I did say top flight, for those of you listening at home, scoring left or right on your dial. It begs the question. So we'll talk about those things. We'll get into it. It is your Wednesday edition. Levi Clark on the other side after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Your next opportunity to see your Knoxville Smokies in the brand new Covenant Hill Park is this week. And what a week. Great promotions every night, including Thirsty Thursday with half-off drafts, and join Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the gang on Saturday. Our Sunday day game will be honoring our law enforcement. And don't forget, fireworks every Friday and Saturday night all season long. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
Why is it so stuffy in here? Don't tell me the AC's broken again. No matter the season, a broken air conditioner or HVAC system is a nightmare. And with warm weather here to stay, it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before summer's heat arrives. If you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. So we were visiting, ladies and gentlemen, and I had the privilege, because I get the privilege of visiting with our guests before they jump on, and you're in for a real treat with Levi Clark here, who, I mean, let's face it, a real breakout star early in the season. This dude had like a magic wand in his hand. For the ages, ladies and gentlemen, literally for the ages. And I'm having trouble hearing him. Let me see if this is better. Whoa. Hang on one second here. Hang on one second. Levi, I hope you're well. I hope everything's going okay. Great day to you. And thank you for coming on and taking some time for us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me. I hope your day's going great as well.
Hey, man. I'm blessed to be here. And you and I were laughing off the air because it was so appropriate last night for the stretch that you guys have been in, as it is Rather and Kittrell Capital Management World Champs Wednesday, and we bring one of the young Vols on, one of the real building blocks for the future. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to set up yourself with your building blocks financially. Make smart money decisions through life transitions over at RK Capital, rkcapital.com, Rather and Kittrell. As Levi Clark joins us on our TLD Logistics phone line, how appropriate was it last night that you guys are sitting in the dugout, trying to get through a midweek game, and then on to Arkansas, a short week with the Thursday game. And, of course, you got to sit there for about an hour in a rain delay. I mean, that is the most 2025 thing ever, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. You know, as I was telling you, I looked up at Hunt before the game, and I go, I don't think there's rain in the forecast, but it looks like it's about to come. So
that was a nice touch last night. You were talking about Hunter Ensley. That was a nice touch last night when Tony brings him out to center field, and then he exits the game, and folks give him a standing ovation. Talk to me, because he's one of the leaders on the team and one of the veterans and kind of one of the guys from the roster from last year that's seen this thing take off. What kind of impact has he had on the season? I know he's not the most talkative guy in the world, but talk about his leadership with this ball club.
Oh yeah, he's great. I mean, first off, he does a great job leading the younger guys and leading by example, and also just like you said, he doesn't talk a lot, but he talks through actions, and you just follow what he does, really. And I mean, like you said, he's been here and he's seen almost everything you can see. And you know, as a guy who stays as calm as him, it's kind of refreshing to know that you can look at him and he's always calm no matter what, and it kind of calms you down.
Levi Clark joining Pride of Marietta, Georgia. Levi, you grew up in a place where you could throw a stone and hit 1,000 baseball players. What was it like growing up in that culture? And tell me about your first baseball memory. What is your first baseball memory?
Ooh, first baseball memory? I would have to say probably hitting my first home run and coach pitch. I think that's the first one I remember. But, I mean, as you said, growing up in Marietta, Georgia, I mean, there's so much baseball around there and so much good competition that, I mean, that's kind of the baseball world, to be honest. And you have no choice but to get better down there with everyone you face.
Yeah, and I would imagine when you're coming up, it's probably humbling because you probably played in situations where, because of your precocious talent, you probably had a chance to play up some, and I'd imagine you got roughed up playing in a spot like that. You probably saw some pretty damn good players.
Oh yeah, we definitely, coming up was interesting. We definitely faced some of the best of the best there was.
Did you have to travel to get games, or did you pretty much stay around where you were? Because look, for the people not familiar, in the off season, one of the things that coaches do, college coaches and even professional scouts from all over the country, go to that area and watch these games. How much traveling did you have to do as a kid with that in mind?
See, I was very lucky. Most of my games were anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes away. And I mean, we would travel to Florida every now and then for a tournament down there, but I was lucky. I got to stay home most of the time.
And you got to travel probably to Florida just to do a little something different, right? Just to keep it kind of interesting. Is that kind of the deal?
Yes, sir. They would have tournaments down there every now and then, and we would all go down there for those.
So tell me about Tennessee and you. How did this come to be? Because when you showed up, like we were talking with some of the older guys. In fact, Hunter's one of them. He was like, man, early on, he was like, wait till you see this Levi Clark guy swing a bat. Like from right away in the fall, you were pretty much hammering baseball. So how did you get here? Tell us the story of how you ended up in Knoxville.
So it's kind of funny, honestly. So my dad actually played football at Georgia. And so everyone in my family, when we were going through a recruiting process, thought I was for sure going to go to Georgia. And for whatever reason, I came up here on a Tuesday game, and the game was packed out. And I don't know, for some reason, I just fell in love with this environment and the fans and the coaches after talking to them. And I mean, this is a great place. There's no place you'd rather be, really.
Man, I'm telling you, that environment over the weekend with Vanderbilt was pretty freaking incredible. And when it's popping here, it is like all time. What's going through your mind? That classic game on Friday night. I mean, the intensity of that game, that building was lit. Tell me about that environment, just for you as a young guy getting to see that, because you're going to be right in the middle of that next year, a ton. What was that like for you?
It was pretty crazy, you know. That environment was sick. I'd say, I mean, having that environment behind you is just as good as having it against you, honestly. You know, you love being the villain going into different places, but I mean, having that environment with you and those people having your back, it's crazy. And that on Friday was pretty special.
As we visit today, Levi Clark, our special guest, and he's a Pride of Marietta, a young man that I'm looking at your bio here, Levi. First of all, I was telling you I got to interface you with my Zach Bryan contacts. We got some Zach Bryan contacts. That's your favorite act. But it says here you like to cook. When you're not on the field, you like to. So you and Liam Doyle both like to cook, because he's been cooking here on Friday nights. Talk to me. What kind of food do you make?
See, so my mom's a big cook. So honestly, I'll cook just about anything. I've made hibachi for my family before. I've made spaghetti and meatballs for them before. I'll cook about anything.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Spaghetti and meatballs. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, we need to have you out because I'll show you how to make it from scratch, my man. I'll freak you out. Oh, come on. What me and Mrs. B do is we put the eggs and the flour right on the table, and you make that stuff from scratch.
That sounds awesome.
A guy like you, a growing boy like you, could probably eat a plate or 5 of that. But so
I bet you I could.
Tell me about now your mom or your dad. Okay, when it comes to baseball, who do we get more advice from? Because your mom's an accomplished softball player. Yes.
She played soccer.
Oh, soccer player. Okay.
Mm.
Who's a bigger helper? Do they stay out of the way?
So my dad coached me when I was younger, and he played baseball when he was younger. And he had the opportunity to play in college, but he chose football. And I would say it was probably my dad out of them two, but to be honest, it was mostly my brother before in front of both of them. My brother played at Johns Hopkins and was also a catcher. So I probably learned the most from him. And, I mean, now they kind of just sit back, and if I have something to talk about with baseball, I'll talk to them about it, and they'll give me their mind. But for the most part, I would say it was my brother growing up.
And probably, since your parents have been through it with your brother playing college baseball, they probably, when they're around you, probably don't want to engage as much on that subject simply because they understand your downtime has to be your downtime. Is that a pretty decent read on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually when it's us in the family, it's us in the family. And, you know, baseball gets brought up some because we're a big baseball family, but, you know.
Yeah, and that's the deal. And so your brother, Johns Hopkins, hey, your brother's no dummy, is he?
Oh, no. He's a little too smart.
I mean, give me a break. Wow. That is one of the most foremost research facilities. And what did he major in there?
So he went to Johns Hopkins, played baseball for 2 years, and then he unfortunately got an injury and wasn't able to play baseball anymore. So he transferred to Georgia Tech, and he majored in medical engineering.
Hello.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. Georgia Tech. I mean, come on now. We're dealing with a big brain guy here. Tell me about this. So you're away from the field. You're away from all this because it's been a crazy 5 weeks for you guys. When it's time for Levi Clark to clear his head, unless he's making hibachi or spaghetti and meatball, where am I going to find Levi Clark? How's he going to clear his head?
Oh, I mean, you'll probably see me with my friends somewhere just hanging out, watching a TV show or playing video games. Right now, we don't get too much downtime, but, you know, when we do, we're usually relaxing. So, I mean, when I'm trying to get my head away from baseball, I'm usually just hanging out with friends.
Take me back. You have this incredible, like rocket fuel success right out of the gate here. You're hammering everything in sight, like you have a magic wand in your hand. Early in the season, what did that feel like for you?
You know, it felt pretty good to get off to a good start, and I mean, it was pretty cool to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how else to explain it.
I mean, you hammered some balls. You were smashing the baseball, and then of course, did you know, like, even while the success was going, because in your sport, you guys are preconditioned and know that it comes and goes. Do you, in the back of your mind, think, man, I know I'm going to cool off. I hope it's not too much, or do you not even give that credence? Like, how do you deal with what's about to come in that sport? Because it comes for everybody.
I mean, yeah, baseball's a pretty humbling sport. But at the end of the day, being a baseball player, when that's going, you got to feel like it's never going to stop.
Bang.
And even though that might be unrealistic, you have to have that mindset, because in the back of your mind, if you do have that little thought, like have that little doubt that, hey, this isn't going to last, then, I mean, it's not going to last, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's never going to last. In fact, you're in a game where, especially the day and age we're living in. Everybody has video, so everybody makes adjustments, and then you got to make adjustments to them, and then they make adjustments to you. But you have sort of gotten your footing back here. Talk to me about that in terms of having the wheel come back around, getting an opportunity. You got to play in some games of consequence over the weekend. And what did it feel like for you to get the opportunity and to perform?
I mean, it obviously felt good, but I got to give the credit to the coaches. I mean, Coach E's been helping me out tremendously hitting recently. I mean, he spent countless hours with me in the cage just trying to figure this out because just to get back to where I was and get back to how I was feeling. And I mean, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of getting back there against this competition.
Yeah, well, coaching matters. And before we unpack kind of some of the things that you guys were doing, let me share a word about the coaching that you can find over at Rather and Kittrell. Look, if you're not sure how to make your money last in retirement, start planning. And smart planning today means peace of mind for tomorrow. Planning for your family's future, look, they can do trust, estate planning, passing down the wealth the right way. You don't want to be caught. And if you're paying too much in taxes, thoughtful tax planning today can save you a significant amount of money down the road. Tell me about Coach Elander and some of the things that you guys were working on in particular. Like, give me an example of some of the stuff you guys were doing in the cage.
Coach E's the best, and some of the stuff we were working on was just like bat pass stuff and all, like just it was mostly bat pass stuff and my posture and making sure I wasn't getting too uneven with my swing, because I already have kind of an upward swing, and just making sure I wasn't getting too uneven with it, which it was for a few weeks, and just finding the right path again.
Yeah, from my naked eye, and you tell me if I'm hot, cold, or you can tell me to shut up if you want. I don't care, man. I'm a paisan. I can take it. But it looked to me like the adjustment they made on you was, okay, we're going to throw the ball high to him, and he's going to have a little trouble getting to it. But it looks like you've made that adjustment. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, most of the guys were just beating me with high fastballs.
Yeah.
And I was hurting. I was kind of shooting myself in the foot and swinging at some out of the zone also. That wasn't helping. And we just had to figure out a way to eliminate that and not let them be able to do that.
Because the interesting thing early on is you were seeing high stuff, but it wasn't, I guess that the velocity would be the way of putting it, or the spin rates, that some of these really upper echelon SEC pitchers who are going to pitch in professional baseball, and some of whom are going to pitch in the major leagues. I mean, guys come out of the middle of these staffs. A lot of these relief pitchers end up pitching on major league rosters. It's crazy, the depth and the speed of some of the stuff you see. Was that kind of the adjustment for you that, I guess eye candy would be the term I would use, like your brain's fooling you, hey, I need to swing at this, when in fact what I need to do is let that one go by and wait for one that's hittable?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I'd say you hit it nail on.
Well, you know, that's what we're trying to do here. You list your biggest goal here as trying to win a national championship. Now, obviously you saw that when you decided that you were going to be at Tennessee Vol. You saw the run they made last year. You were telling me before we started, I was asking you about Tony during this spin that you guys are in. Tony's never in his career had a period like this where he's lost as much as at home as this team has lost. You were telling me off the air, hey, if there's a bad break, we're finding it. And I was asking you what he's been like behind the scenes, and share with the living Vol fan just kind of, because this really shows you who a guy is toward you guys when it's spinning on you. Tell me about what Tony's been like behind the scenes during this.
I mean, he's been the same guy every day. He's been the same coach, and that's why he's great at it. He's just been keeping us positive and has been reassuring us that we can do whatever we put our mind to, and that we have the talent and we have the squad and we have the personality to. And I mean, we all believe it, and we know this is going to turn soon.
Yeah, you were telling me that basically one of his messages was, even after the weekend, was, look, guys, we're we're the same group that started 20-0. I mean, we can still do this. As a guy that's in the middle of that, it's like, do you sit there and go, what else is going to happen this year? I mean, these rain delays have been crazy. Some of the bad breaks that you guys have found has just been insane. Some of the craziest, goofiest, nuttiest stuff has just happened to this team. Like, what's it like in the moment, and how do you keep what's just happened from entering your mind as you kind of see it happen again?
I mean, it's baseball. You know, whatever happens, good or bad, you got to flush it the next AB, next game. After you sleep on it, it doesn't matter again, and just being ready for whatever comes your way. I mean, we've almost seen everything, to be honest with you, so we're ready for anything.
You mentioned this earlier. I listen to people when they talk. You said, look, it's great to play in front of a home crowd, but playing the Villain's a really fun thing. You've had the opportunity. You know this, right? When you guys go on the road, first of all, the place is jam-packed everywhere you go. Even like in South Carolina. Yeah, everywhere. Everywhere you go. The Tennessee baseball team's coming. These guys are rock stars in the sport. And so from that perspective, give me a couple of good memories for you, crowds you've been involved in so far this year, and just a couple stories.
I mean, LSU, it was crazy. I mean, that crowd hated us. Everyone there hated us. But, you know, we enjoy that as a team. You know, we do. And I think we respond good to that.
Do you guys jaw with fans from the dugout when you're on the road?
No, we don't. We stay with us.
So you pretty much stay. Because I noticed that every once in a while, I think the thing that's good about your sport is, and you've been in the outfield, right, some, and so people in these stadiums can get close enough where they can literally like talk to you, say things to you.
Oh yeah.
What's that experience like for you?
I mean, most of the stuff is honestly like they're trying to be mean, but like as a player, you kind of just find it funny because they're yelling at you. It's like a 60-year-old man yelling at an 18-year-old kid. Kind of it's funny. It's just like you can't do anything but laugh, really.
Well, we had a kid. We were in the I was in the outfield. Tennessee's first run when they went, or it was, I don't know when it was, but it was a few years back. Wright State was in town, and their left fielder was literally sitting there carrying on a conversation with the people up on the porch. And at one point he turned around and he said, man, he said, I wish I had some eligibility left. He said, because I'd walk right over there and beg this guy to take me. He said, this is so much fun being in this building. He said, you people... Because people were razzing him and they were getting on him. And he was like, that's a good line. And because at some point, you all kind of know, hey, this isn't personal. And this is some 60-year-old dude who, you know, if he saw me in the parking lot, wouldn't say anything to me. He'd tell me good game.
Yeah.
So answer me this. We've got a trip to Arkansas coming up. The mindset of your ball club now that we had a senior night here. It's a Thursday through Saturday affair. If you had your way, is it Friday through Sunday, or is it better to get right back on the field on Thursday?
I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly. To us, it's just being there, able to play whenever we are, and taking full advantage of it whenever, and that's what this team's going to do. So we honestly don't care when we play. We just... Whenever the game is, we go out and we play.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You young guys got the opportunity over the weekend, and I think you guys showed out. It looks to me like the future's pretty bright here with the young core that you're a part of. Can you speak to that?
I mean, all the young guys here put in hard work, and I think that's from. I think a lot of it has to do with the leaders we have here and all the older guys doing a great job with us.
Levi Clark, my best to you. Have you found a good... I noticed you're a good fisherman here on the way out, or you like it. You're an avid fisherman. Have you found a good hole here yet, or a good spot?
I've not, honestly. I haven't been able to go too much.
Man, we need to get you out this summer.
Yes, sir.
So we need to coordinate that for you. Anybody listening that wants to take Levi fishing, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite type of fishing? Are you like a fly fisherman? Rob Lewis, are you listening?
I've never gone fly fishing before. My dad's always wanted to take me, but other than that, I mean, I'll fish just about for anything.
Because we have world-class fly fishing opportunities around here in some of the streams and lakes. Just sort of lends itself to that. And of course, the Tennessee River here, and I just know so many folks that it's a great thing to do, man. Just to kind of get outside and decompress. But at any rate, my best to you. Anything else you'd care to add here on the way out? And shout out to your mom a couple days after Mother's Day, because she actually is a soccer player and not a softball player. And shout out to all my soccer players. On the way out, did she ever take you to an Atlanta United game? Have you ever been to one of those?
I've been to one of those games, yes, sir.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is cool. It's a cool atmosphere.
On the way out, anybody else you want to shout out here? And I really appreciate you taking some time for us.
Absolutely, 100%. And like you said, my mom, she's been there through me the whole way, so she's great. Wouldn't be here without her.
Thank you, my brother. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you, too. Thank you for having me.
Levi Clark, one more time. Hey, Sean, he said it, man. Baseball is a tough. I would imagine, as we're presented by our friends at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management, rkcapital.com, I would imagine when you have the kind of start he had, and it feels like it's coming easy, and then all of a sudden it's not, I would imagine that's got to be a tough spot for a young athlete to be in, because that's what he's gone through.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't know that experience. I was not the elite athlete he is and the rest of his team is. And, it's just listening to him talk about, sleep on it and flush it and it being a humbling game it reminds me that, us fans, we'll look into the stats and we'll look into the this and the that, and we'll compare this year and last year, and we'll project out what do we need to do to this. It's quick and easy to forget that there's nothing that we haven't thought of that those coaches haven't thought of 10 times. And it's in for every stat that we know that a player's left so many left on base, that same stat is haunting that kid at night, because all he wants to do is do better. All he wants to do is help the team win. I have a heart. You have, I don't know if it's 12 in a row. You've had 10 to 12 kids in a row. And these are the top of the top of the top. Most of them could have gone pro out of high school if they didn't, and they chose to come here. And this is a tough streak, every single kid has just been top notch, has handled themselves with utmost class, has answered all of your questions, and I'm really proud of all of them for wearing the tee and glad they chose to come here.
865-200-5402. Another guy who didn't wear the tee, but he's an honorary vol in my book because he volunteers every Wednesday to jump on with us, and he's presented by Simpson's Meats, is the great Watson Brown on a Wednesday with Watson's coming up. We got to talk about getting my man Joey Football ready. Joey Football is getting ready to be the cause celeb of college football. Everybody's cheering for this guy. Everybody's rooting for the Vols. The entire football establishment. We like to wear the woe is me, nobody likes us hat in these parts, and all the announcers are against us. No, they're not, first of all. And secondly, this year, they're really not against you. Because everybody is sick of this rigmarole BS. And Team Nico, they represent this more than anybody in this era. Nobody has ever walked out on a team after spring practice and worked some deal with UCLA where basically the family's getting 1/3 of the money they were getting here. Congratulations to, what was the dad's name? I forget his name. Who cares? Nobody cares. That's the point. Nobody cares. But they are the pariah at the party, and the Vols are all that's good in the world because they got dumped on. So I want to talk to Watson about Joey Football. I also want to talk to Watson about Dante Thornton had some comments on a blog. I'm going to read them to you. I'll share them with you. I haven't even put them in my blog. I haven't done any of that. I was waiting for Watson because I want to get Watson's thoughts on what Thornton was saying, what Pete Carroll was saying to Thornton. The gist of it is, and then we'll talk about it, we had to go back and watch your Oregon film to see what kind of NFL wide receiver you're going to be. Because what you're doing at Tennessee does not translate to what we're doing here. Now I'm going to get Watson's thoughts on that. If that's true, if that's false, if that's somewhere in between. But we'll continue with more on the other side. It's a Wednesday with Watson Brown presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Shout out Rather and Kittrell one more time. rkcapital.com. Also shout out the Loyalty Fund, the little NIL that tries harder. Evan Russell and the gang trying to take care of the baseball players, many of whom, need money to pay rent, that sort of thing. Look them up, Loyalty. As we continue with more on the other side, that's Loyal and then the letter T, which describes Brian to the Boston Celtics. Brian will be front and center watching his guys get eliminated tonight. As we continue with more on the other side. And no, Brian, I'm not betting on him because you burned me once, you clown, after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we've got Chad Stockton with FC Alliance. Chad?
Well, I'm up in Johnson City, Tennessee with our FC Alliance North location that we started this past fall. We are doing well. We kickstarted the spring season with games this past weekend, and we've got more games coming up the next few weeks. So we're excited about what the springtime holds for us. Our girls, ECNL, is also into the middle of their spring season. They hosted a huge weekend this weekend coming from Pittsburgh and New York, the teams they hosted. Good results, hard teams they played all weekend long. We've got such a focus on skill development and focusing on what's the right way to play for our kids. As we continue to grow, we're expecting our programs to continue to grow like they have been the past few years. Our tryouts are coming up in late May. For the U12 and under, it's the middle of May, and then for the older kids, it'll be late May. But we're expecting to grow not only in Knoxville, but also in Johnson City.
And if you want more information, you can see what Chad's talking about and hear those kids and get involved. It's FCAllianceKnox.org. Again, FCAllianceKnox.org. Hey, Chad, thanks, man. Many happy returns, my brother.
Thank you, Tony.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime, online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean, no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather & Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
God, I love hearing Jeff Hall's voice as I welcome you back. It is your Tony Basilio show. We are winding through a rather eventful hour one here. Shout out to Levi Clark. Great hearing from that young man who comported himself well. I just texted him and gave him the double shout out there. Let's, without further ado, on our TLD Logistics phone line, now welcome in a gentleman who's presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. And you talk about a guy that brings it. And Watson, today we don't have fluff on our plate, okay? We got some serious meat to take care of on our plate today. Welcome back to the show. I missed you last week.
Oh, miss you guys.
But man, great to have you back. Much love to you on the Ave, and great to hear your voice. Hey, Watson, let's start here. Joey football's on Tennessee's campus right now. So he didn't have to wait for UCLA's final exams and all that to get here. He actually got here about a month earlier than they thought. And the reason he did, and the way he did it, is he completed some correspondence type classes and actually graduated from App State where he was. Right, so now he's in here as a graduate. And everybody lives happily ever after. So that extra month, okay, how significant is that, if at all, in your mind?
Oh, huge. Every minute he can get is better than the minute he couldn't get. He needs every piece of that. There's so much for him. He's got to learn the stuff. He's got to learn the players. The players have got to learn him. They've got to start throwing and together and competing against one another in the different different skeleton drills and things they're going to do. There's so much. There is so much, and this offense will be different than what he's run. So it's going to have to be time spent on learning the offense first, terminology, all of that. I promise you, I don't know, but I would bet my house that their terminology is not very wordy at all, because you can't be wordy and go fast. So I would bet the terminology will not be hard to learn. The system will be, because it's built on timing and so many different things with the receivers and the quarterbacks. That's what will take him time. I think he's going to do well, because everything I hear about him now is, if you all remember a month ago, whatever it was, 6 weeks ago, you asked what would you look for in a quarterback? I said a confident guy that's a leader, that wants to be here and wants to handle the heat.
Yeah.
You endorse the heat. You want it. And if you don't have that guy, I don't care how good he is, at a place like Tennessee, you're not going to be successful. You got to want this. And from everything I hear, the young man has those things. So I think they may have lucked out here.
I'm kind of a body language guy when it comes to sports, and I don't know what that even means, because you better have some talent to go with your body language. But I always like the QB that's got a little moxie, a little bit of attitude. The guy at Vanderbilt kind of comes to mind. He's sort of an undersized guy, and you and I were talking about during the year, but he's sort of a get on my back, I'm going to carry you, we're going to do this thing. Here's the thing about what they've done to Joey football is they've set him up. I'm talking about the sport, by the way it's structured right now. He did nothing wrong at UCLA to get kicked out of his deal. Nothing. But I guarantee you, if that kid's got a competitive bone in his body, he wakes up every day wanting to show that Foster guy, hey, you made the wrong decision, because I am going to show the world that I can play football. And that can be either good or bad, Watson, but I get the sense it could end up pretty good here in this spot.
Well, if you got the pieces I'm talking about, you embrace that. You either get upset and overdo trying to prove everybody wrong, or you embrace it. You said, man, this is going to be fun. I'm fixing to show everybody. And that's what I hear about him. And so that's what I'm talking about. I thought that's exactly what Tennessee needed in this situation, because you're walking in with a guy that was so well thought of, that hadn't gotten there yet, but unbelievably thought of. And you're having to replace that, and yet come in and be good early, because they don't have a gimme game to start the year. I mean, Syracuse and Atlanta will not be a gimme, and he's going to have to play well right out the gate. He don't get Chattanooga or East Tennessee or whatever, usually the one FCS school, whoever they're going to play. He doesn't get that. And I remember Marcus Mariota. I think we were his first start at Tennessee Tech when we played him at Oregon. He gave him a game to get things under his belt before he had to jump into it. This young man ain't going to get that. So he's got to go. And that's why I think this extra month is very important. What is it?
It's August 30th at noon.
Games,
Two
of the first three games is Syracuse and Georgia.
That's right. August 30th at noon, Watson. It's a noon start. Look, from that perspective, getting a football team ready, all the uncertainty you've had this year, it feels like you'd almost rather just play that game in the noon slot, and let's get, because you're going to grow between.
Cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? Go play.
Yeah,
Who
go
cares?
play. Yeah.
Go play. And the same thing. Georgia's got a lot of new faces. You're not going. Everybody's in the same boat now, Tony.
Yep.
Because you say, well, Georgia's got everybody back, and we're the ones having to regroup here. No, they got a bunch going too. So it really doesn't matter. It's how quick. It's not a 4-year deal. It's a 1-year deal. How quick can you get a team ready to play in a year? And really, 6 months, because so many things happen from January till now. So many things.
Well, Syracuse and Tennessee, Watson, both have quarterbacks that they just got off the scrap heap, basically.
No,
I mean, the Angeli guy, and
so
in this case,
to fret. You don't have to get nervous, because the dude across the field from you's got the same problems. he's got the same problems you do. So, and by the time he gets to Georgia, and Georgia comes to Knoxville, they're going to be equal in the same problems.
It's unbelievable, Andy. As the great Watson Brown joins us on the program, I got to ask Watson about Pete. I haven't talked about Pete Rose at all this hour, but hour 2 is getting ready to commence, and so my moratorium on Pete Rose conversation's about to end. But that'll be towards the bottom of our conversation. For the radio stations down the line, here's a quick legal ID.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
It is, ladies and germs, a Wednesday with Watson Brown, and I do mean germs. Here's the deal. He's presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. I was talking to the great Sam Bruce, Watson, who was saying that when you come on here and make the sounds you make when we talk about what they offer there.
Oh, geez.
He said people are coming in there going, I want to see what Watson Brown's talking about.
Oh, well, I hope a bunch do, because I got no problem doing that whatsoever. I'm telling you, it's delicious.
We're talking about
absolutely delicious.
A beef brand built on quality. You're going to pay more, but you're going to taste the difference. When you want to treat yourself, Simpson's Meat, go ahead.
And you're going to buy it again. That's what I'm going to tell you. You're going to go right back and pay for it again. After you eat it. That's what I say. You're going right back. It's that good.
Simpson's Meats raises and sources their meat from farms on pastures to purpose, comfortably continuing a tradition that began in 1888 on Jim Simpson's farm. Shout out to you, Jim. Love you, man. In addition, steaks, burgers, sausages, roast, chicken, variety of local offerings. They've got a local butcher shop, which is located West Knoxville off Level Road. Check them out. They're also online, ship anywhere in the world, simpsonsmeats.com. All right, Watson Brown. I have been holding this for several days. This happened last week on a podcast. This was said by former Tennessee wide receiver Dante Thornton. We've been wondering, Sean's been wondering, I've been wondering. The living Tennessee fans been wondering what's up with us having, in a high-profile offense, the inability to attract that top-flight, high-end wide receiver. And I'm going to ask you about if this has any validity to it. This is on a podcast. This is a quote from Dante Thornton, who said the following. That was mostly every team's main talking point, talking about him in the NFL. He said, was asking the offense that we run here at Tennessee if I'm able to run pro-style routes. I had to be very intentional. Playing 2 seasons here at Tennessee, we don't have the same wide route tree that most pro-style offenses have. I'd say just my intermediate and medium route running, when he was asked on draft day what he needs to improve on, he said and the following, with my past 2 years at Tennessee, I really have an opportunity to display that much. So just getting back into the flow of doing that, I'd say that was the number one thing. One thing on draft day, Pete Carroll, he said it himself. He said, I went back and looked at his Oregon film. There's a lot of stuff you can see that people didn't see with me playing those 2 years at Tennessee. And Thornton appeared on the OLV Raiders Network and made these comments. He said, if you turn on my 2 years of Oregon film, you see me running true routes. Now, Watson, that does not sound very complimentary during his time here for preparing him for the moment as a wide receiver in the NFL. Do you understand? Take me under wing. Exactly what is he saying there? Do you understand what he's getting at?
Yeah, I think it's overblown, but I do think there is something to it. What Tennessee does is with those maximum splits, and everything is vertical. They don't run. I call them vertical options. You've heard me talk about it many times. It's where you're going to pull up if you see this, you're going to take the seam if you see this, and you read it on the run, and the quarterback and receiver have to do that. Now, not all they do is that, but that is part of what they do. But everything he's done is pretty much outside the hashes. Well, the hashes are in the middle of the field. I don't think Tennessee would run this if the hashes were where they are in the NFL. The NFL is built much more on horizontal. They run a lot of vertical stuff, but they also run horizontal. What Tennessee does not do is they do not run the crossing route tree. They just don't do much of that because you can't run crossing routes from those maximum splits. You just can't do it. I would venture to say, back in December I was talking to you, I think that Josh is going to look at what's gone down and how everybody started playing him, and I think they'll add that to their game this year. I'll be surprised if they don't. When you're running the shallow crossing routes or option routes, when I first learned passing game, I went to BYU and spent some time out there with them, and that's exactly what that stuff is. It's option routes in different levels of the field, and then the crossing, the shallow cross and the medium crossing routes. And that's what you see a ton in the NFL. What for? NFL is man first, zone second. College football is zone first, man second. And so when you're running those shallow crossing routes, you call it a horizontal option. You cross the field, Tony, and then if it's zone, you pull up in the zone, and they'll hit you right there. If it's man, you want to pick yourself clean and keep going. Tennessee does not run pick routes, which I've told you it's hard for them to beat man coverage if they don't win the one-on-ones. I was taught early, if you can't beat them in one-on-one, you got to pick them. You better pick yourself clean. Find ways to pick yourself clean. Tennessee tries to switch on the outside, the hash marks. One will come inside and the other one will cross behind him. That's the only picks I see them run. Tennessee's horizontal options are behind the line of scrimmage, whereas a lot of college teams and the NFL are running those horizontal options with shallow crosses and deeper crosses because the ball's in the middle of the field more and their splits are much tighter than what Tennessee's are. So it's a little bit not true, but there is something to that. And you know, I don't know. Sometimes I just think when you get drafted a little lower and you thought you wanted, you come up with reasons why you were drafted where you were.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
I'm not going to take shots. I'm not. But I've been through that before. And I've had kids that were disappointed and they'd end up saying this or saying that. I get it. That's everybody thinks they're going in the first round. And I think he's going to be a great pro. I do.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy. Yeah.
But if he stays healthy, and he needs to get stronger, needs to get stronger, gain a little weight, and I think he will. They'll know how to do that with him. But I don't blow that up as much because I've listened to that so many times through my career. I have. Well, we just didn't do that kind of stuff. Okay. Running a pass route's running a pass route. You can, once you're taught what to do. Now, the thing that probably did hurt him a little is that they didn't see any of that, and that'd be the only thing. But learning to do that is not hard. But what he has learned to do in Tennessee stuff is harder. I ran both. I started out as a horizontal option guy, like I'm talking about, like he's talking about. Then I ended up in Houston with Rice in the 80s when I learned to run and shoot, and that's vertical option stuff. So I did both, and the vertical option stuff is harder to time up and to learn than the horizontal option stuff is. So he'll pick that up quick. That's not going to slow him down in the least.
So could that be a reason why? I'm just trying to make sense of Tennessee's recruiting at wide receiver after the two guys took off that got drafted highly in the NFL, and it looks like neither of whom are becoming distinguished players. In fact, our Blitnikoff Award winner with the Giants might not even make it through camp. They're saying up there, he is.
I don't get that either.
He's been a bust.
I'd like to know what happened.
Yeah, he's been a bust. I don't know either.
That one I missed.
I think we all missed.
I thought he was a shoe-in NFL guy.
Yeah, I think we all missed. But you've got that, and then you've got him saying what he's saying here. Does that stick to you on the recruiting trail? And if you're Josh Heupel, how do you keep that from sticking to you? I think that would be a challenge, wouldn't it? Because if I'm recruiting against Tennessee, I'm using that quote, right? I'd have to.
Oh yeah, it's probably been used.
Yeah,
because the style of offense is different than a lot of offenses. So you're going to come up with anything you can,
sure,
to get a kid's attention. So
sure.
If I was Josh, I would add some of that. I just would. And you don't got to go to.
And that quiets it. If you just add it, that quiets that, right?
And I thought that's what I brought up to you all after the season. I love what he does. I did all the things he does. But I think I got in trouble some if I couldn't beat them, man. I had to go do some of this horizontal stuff where you're picking them clean, crossing those shallow crosses.
Yeah.
I had to, because I'd run into people that could cover me. Here's a great story. I'm finishing up my time here in my hometown at Tennessee Tech, and Rogers, the kid that transferred to us from Tennessee, gosh, what's his first name now?
Go ahead, just go for it. Yep.
He was a receiver at Tennessee and a good player, real good player, and ended up at Tennessee Tech. And he catches 18 balls in one game for us. I mean, he's doing it all. Well, he gets hurt in the fourth quarter against the best team in the league that year. And we're going up and down the field. And once he went out, we had nobody that could beat you one-on-one after him. And they just locked us up, and I left the field saying, boys, we've got to run more pick stuff if he's not going to be playing the next week. Derek Rogers. Derek Rogers was his name.
Yep.
And so I'm telling you, I thought that at the end of the year for Tennessee. It looked like they were getting covered in man some, and I just thought they needed some of that mixed in with it.
Give me a little rub here. Sean Sinclair, your thoughts on our conversation. Jump in.
Well, a couple of things. I think a lot of things can be true and accurate at the same time. I think that Josh Heupel's first and foremost, his obligation is to win college football games and to put the best offense out there that he thinks can do that. And if that is a case where, he runs a certain type of offense where it's a little bit different than the NFL, that's his prerogative. And most of the time it has been to our benefit. I remember growing up a Nebraska fan and watching Oklahoma, and they ran the wishbone, and yet they had good Lord, the tight end they had. I just forgot his name.
They had all the great players, but they had the great Irving Fryer back in the day. They had a bunch of guys.
No, I'm talking about Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. You're talking about
Jackson, maybe.
Keith Jackson. Keith
Jackson. He would catch one or two balls a day.
Keith Jackson. Yep.
And he was a high first-round draft pick.
My Eagles, that's right.
And so the point being is that I'm going to side with Heupel. I hear what you're saying, but in the past two recruiting classes, he picked Mike Matthews up, a top 5 wide receiver 5-star. In this most recent class, he picked up Travis Smith and Radarius Jackson, who could call any school, including Ohio State, and they would have a scholarship for either one of them. And so, right now it's not hurting. I think you could look at it a different way, and I could say, okay, Dante Thornton was hugely underperforming at Oregon, coming off a 5-star high school career. I think you could take Cedric Tillman was a 2-star at Las Vegas Gorman. I think you could say our Hyatt had a nice career and blew up in the state playoffs over in South Carolina. And I think you could make the argument that this system created the expectations those kids might have had or teams might have had, and actually highlighted them and elevated them past what they really were as players. And now that they're getting to the NFL, I don't think they're handicapped by the system. I think they're being exposed.
Well, I don't think systems handicap anybody. I think if you're good, you learn. If it's something different, you've got to go in and learn. You go learn it. I mean, I agree 100%. If I'm Josh, I don't put anything in for recruiting. I put in if I think I need it. Period. You're going to get your guys. They're getting those guys. So I don't. My statement is, if he needs it, he'll put it in. That's what I said when the season ended. If he don't think he does, he won't. And I haven't seen him make many bad decisions at this point in his offensive stuff. So, and if he does put it in, he's not going to change his offense. He'll add a little something if he does. And I'm anxious to see if he does. And I know this, that Hendon Hooker year, he didn't need any of that when he had really good receivers out there. And they weren't bad last year. I think they were more conservative to me last year, and I think it was covering the quarterback. I believe that. I said it during the year to you guys. I think they're still going slow with him. Look back at Hendon Hooker the year before he really was good. He was okay the first year. The second year, he was dynamic. Well, Nico was going into his second year to become dynamic, and I think we'd have seen that more wide openness this year if he had stayed. That's why I think he screwed the pooch and went about this the wrong way. But Josh, to me, I wouldn't do anything for what somebody says. You got to make your own decisions, and if he puts something in, I promise you it's going to be, Sean, what you said. He's going to do it because he thinks he needs it, not because somebody says something. I never listened to any of that when I would hear it with different players that would leave and say, well, we didn't really do that. The other thing, Sean, you know, they used to, there for a while, well, these quarterbacks coming out now can't run this stuff in the NFL. Well, as those quarterbacks kept coming out, what did the NFL do? They started running what they're running in college.
That's exactly right.
I mean, so that's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. There is a little bit legit that you didn't see him run this, but it's overblown. It doesn't matter. I didn't run it. He was taken in the first round. He didn't run those shallow crossing routes and all that stuff. Where did he go?
Who was that, Watson? So, what'd you say?
The kid at Tennessee that's with the Giants now.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He was taken in the first round. They know it's all off of ability, guys. They think they can teach these guys anything, and they can, because they get them all day long instead of for a couple hours a day. They can teach them anything. It's all off of ability. That's how they.
Coach, I'm reminded of a story that Mike Leach told, and he had a couple of quarterbacks, and supposedly the knock on them was because they were in the shotgun so much that they didn't take snaps under center. And it was a big deal in the media. And Mike Leach got on the air and just said, "Don't you have quarterback coaches? Do I really need to come up there and hold a half-hour conference on teaching you how to take a snap?" And the point is that if that's the ultimate part of the sport is the NFL, and presumably they have the best coaches there, and they have much smaller rosters, and they have more analysts than Nick Saban could ever want at Alabama. I just don't understand how that couldn't be sorted out immediately.
It can, and it always is. It always is. I mean, my toughest thing with my quarterbacks through all, and my guys did a lot of stuff, but they'd always come back and say, "Coach, the hardest thing for me to learn in the NFL is terminology," because we were a fast go bunch all the way back into the 90s, and we said very little to call a play. We'd probably say 60 hot. That was it. Right? 60 hot. I mean, it was that quick. And the quarterbacks in the NFL got this long deal where they call out everything. They call every receiver on what he does. So that's what's hard for my guy. It's always something different, Sean. But it goes back to, does he have all the pieces? Is he smart? Is he tough? Is he competitive? And does he have great physical tools? That's what they look for. They're not looking to see if you run a shallow cross or a deep post. They're looking at ability and all the things. And so, like I said at the start of this, I think it's blown out of proportion. There is a little that they didn't see him do that, but that's not going to keep you from taking a guy. It's not going to do it. What do they do when they come and try you out, when they come to your campus? They do all that stuff with you. They're sitting there watching him run those routes. I mean, so it's, again, like I said at the start, I don't want to overdo it here, but it to me, that's blown out of proportion a little bit.
It's a Wednesday with the great Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. I want to remind you, you can ship premium meat anywhere in the world from Simpson's Meats. Check out their website, simpsonsmeats.com. Several folks have. Also, you can visit their store in West Knoxville off Level Road. Shout out to Sam Bruce and the gang there. And Watson, I got to ask you this. You're a baseball guy. I love the sport. I grew up going to Major League games. I wrote today in the blog, when I was a 12-year-old kid, I had a shirt on with Pete Rose diving headfirst into third base, and it said hustle makes it happen. I love Charlie Hustle as a baseball player. Not for me to judge him as a guy. Don't think I'd want to hang out with him, and certainly would have hid my valuables if he was in my house. No offense to him. So, that said, yesterday, Rob Manfred, now that Pete Rose has passed away, it's made he and Shoeless Joe Jackson eligible for, in essence, eligible to be considered for the Hall of Fame. Watson, if I gave you a Hall of Fame vote, are you voting Pete Rose for the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. And I'm probably in the minority. I don't know what all your fans that call in.
Yeah, that's the first time I brought it up here, but go ahead.
But I just think it ought to be on the field. And he didn't kill somebody or whatever. He made some mistakes. I get it off the field, but I don't think Pete Rose ever would blow a game or do something for something like that. He is one of the best players that's ever played baseball. And I'm just an on-the-field guy, and don't judge him on the off-the-field things unless it's just O.J. Simpson something.
Look.
Where it gets really bad.
Well, look, this guy respected, when he played the game, he respected the game unlike any other. I mean, he was a maniac. He ran over Ray Fosse in an All-Star game, which is supposed to be an exhibition baseball game. He smashed him at home plate.
He is one of the hardest players to ever play the game. Maniac. I put him in the top 10 of all time. Paul Hornung had something with that. You can't. I just don't think that's right. Do it off of what he did on that field, unless what he did off the field is just awful. If you blew a game now on purpose or something, okay.
Yep.
That happened on the field. But when you're betting on your own team and you're coaching, you're not playing. You're coaching.
Sean Sinclair, where are you on Pete Rose? Because it's 2028 is when it's going to be up for consideration. And then I'll go to Brian Hartman. Where are you guys?
I'm strongly in favor of Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, and I'm strongly in favor of the steroid guys. And I'll tell you why. You can't tell me that Pete Rose is the only guy that bet on baseball. That we all know that's nonsense. I guarantee you there are guys right now in major leagues that are betting on baseball. Where I would draw it would be like Coach. He never bet against his team. He would never, as far as I know, didn't put himself in a position to throw a game. When you get like Shoeless Joe Jackson, regardless of where you're part of a throw in a game, that's a different thing to me. Yeah. And when you come to the steroid guys, I get that too. But Major League Baseball, they did a wink, wink, nod, nod because of strikes, because of the failing attendance. They rode those guys like mules through that summer to get the home run records, and then they just threw them under the bus.
Yes, they did.
I'm not for and here's another thing. You cannot tell me that the guys that are out of the Hall of Fame were the only guys that were taking steroids. I mean, one of the Boone brothers playing second base hit like 50 home runs that year. Come on.
There was a guy named Brady something, Brady Anderson for the Orioles, who looked like one of the guys off that TV show 90210. He hit like 45 one year, and he couldn't throw it up and hit it twice and hit it out. Hey, Brian.
Bonds, Clemens, McGuire.
Yep.
Most of those guys were Hall of Fame. Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he even learned how to spell steroids.
Hey,
he was an incredible player.
Hey, Watson, Bino, Jeff Henderson, who has some great lines on here, had a great one. He said they ought to, up there in Cooperstown, they ought to form a special wing for those guys shaped like a syringe that you walk through.
Steroids has been around forever, and I don't even know if it was illegal then in Major League Baseball. It wasn't illegal in college football forever.
Go.
It was the 80s before it even became illegal.
If people knew half the
have you
stuff.
ever picked up a bat? Take a football player, Tony.
Yeah.
Take a football player and put a bat in his hands that's been on steroids forever and see if he can hit that ball.
Hey,
you still got to get a bat and go hit that thing, man.
Well, that's a truth.
Easy to do.
That is
not easy to do.
That is a straight truth. Brian Hartman, does Pete Rose, in your opinion, and Eric Waddell's listening right now, You're a voter for the Hall of Fame. Are you putting Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? Brian Hartman.
He should have already been in the Hall of Fame years ago, given what he's done in the field.
Wednesday,
while he was alive to enjoy it.
Wednesday with Watson, I love you, man. You just have no idea the love I have for you, my friend. You just have no idea.
Well, you guys are great. It's so much fun to talk because you know what you're talking about.
Well,
so it's fun to be on with you guys.
And you know what's funny? That's what separates us from people like Kelly Holcomb.
You just can't let it go, Teddy.
Thank you, Watson.
You cannot let it go.
Love you, man. Thanks.
Love you, too.
So I'm on George Plaster's show yesterday, and he comes at me with a curveball. He says, friend of Kelly's was listening, and you referred to Kelly as a brain donor. I said, no, I didn't, George. I called him a living brain donor. I call him a brain donor. I called him a living brain donor. And I said, and that with me is a sign of endearment. I said, I love Kelly Holcomb. But, well, at any rate, my friends at Simpson's Meats, I don't want to get off on that. If you want to buy in bulk, they've got half and quarter cows available as well. Half cows and quarter cows. Premium meats can be shipped anywhere in the world, simpsonsmeats.com. Check out their store, West Knoxville off Lovell Road. Check it out today. We come back, we'll get some calls in. Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I'll give you my opinion. Let's just say they just gave you 3 votes for, and my opinion, I'm kind of not in line with them. So we come back with more after this.
Yes, Sabir on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Hey, it's VJ Murray, third baseman with your Knoxville Smokies. If you haven't made it out to Covenant Health Park yet, what are you waiting for? We're home tonight, so come see great baseball in the best ballpark in the minors. Go Smokies.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses.
valves, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to Budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to Budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for Advent.
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Achillio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from B. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. Hated to be back with you. All right, Pete Rose, and then we'll go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Pete Rose. Then Brian Hartman wants to put a few things in perspective for us. Then we'll go to the phones. Because Brian Hartman just sent me something that I can't comprehend. My Pete Rose take is presented by our friends at VIP Play, and he'd be proud of that. 200 leagues to wager on. All your favorite types of bets are available. Several of you have signed up in recent days. Several people have asked me the promo code. Promo code's TN Tony. TN Tony, because I want full credit. And here's the deal. You got to check this site out. This thing is world class. This is world class. Everything you want is there. And we're going to be doing some fun stuff. And we get towards the football season, we're going to be doing some really fun things. But suffice it to say that the thing that's going to separate VIP Play, because you can do on VIP Play what you can do anywhere else. All this live betting, all this stuff. It's live always, all that stuff. But my man Will Heflin's going to earn your business. They're going to earn your business. And they're going to take care of you and treat you like a VIP, and that's what VIP Play is all about. So the VIP Players Club sweepstakes going on now through the end of next month. Every time you bet, your name goes into the hopper. We're going to have a winner. We'll announce it. All that's great. Also, your bet assured in Tennessee with the VIP guarantee. Everyone plays like a VIP at VIP Play. Go over and claim your VIP Play welcome bonus and check the site out. Download the app. See what we're talking about. You bet $5 or more, you get your $100 in bonus bets immediately. Immediately. And if you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee. to bet. So that's presented by, our Pete Rose take is presented by VIP Play. Tony, what are you doing? Nothing. If Pete Rose was like you or me, I got no problem with it. You want to go out there and have some fun and gamble, and it's your money. Go do your thing. Pete Rose was a manager of a Major League Baseball team. And at the time he did it, I think there were 30 teams. This was before the expansion. Might have been 28 teams. Brian, how many teams were there back in the day, late 80s?
20, I think 26.
26. Okay.
There's 30 now.
Thank you, Brian. So he had one of the 26 jobs in the world in that sport. And how many people do you think, if the Reds job came open and you said to the general public, okay, apply for the job, you'll be considered? Several million people? Now, one thing I'll say about Pete Rose, when he played the game, he respected the game. I as a kid, and looking back on it now, it's kind of crazy. He was 39 years old when he joined the Phillies. He was 40 when they won the World Series. He played there till he was like 43 or 44. He finished up with the Phillies with the Wheeze kids. And you had guys like Joe Morgan there, and we had Tony Perez. We had all those Big Red Machine guys, and led the Phillies to a National League pennant. They smoked the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. Smoked them. The Sarge, Gary Matthews, got red hot. And then got beat by Baltimore. But it's all right. We made the World Series. Kind of like this baseball team this year. It's all right. Pete Rose goes to Montreal, becomes a player manager. Still respects the game. Pete Rose, when he's managing the Reds, got way out over his skis and believed his own hype. And he had a chance to come clean with baseball. And he had a chance to come clean several times when he was alive. And he didn't. And they banished him and banned him. Here's the deal. And look, I'm as romantic as anybody. I'd love to see them put him in the Hall of Fame. No, I wouldn't. Here's why. In every locker room, it says don't bet on baseball. You talk to any of these guys. It's always said that in these locker rooms. Don't bet on baseball. You want to go out and drink tonight and get blasted? Go drink. You want to go snort your cocaine or whatever these people have done down through the years, or take your pills? Go do that stuff. It's the truth. Womanizing the whole... We got one rule. We got one rule here. Don't bet on baseball. I got one rule in the garden. Don't eat the fruit. Pete Rose, don't eat the fruit. Don't eat the fruit, man. He had to violate the one rule. Sean says, well, and I love Sean. And Brian, hey, all these guys again. I don't see their betting slips. And back in the day, this guy had betting slips. He's so arrogant with it. He had he had betting slips. And so the bottom line is this. If you're going to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, let's call the Bohannon guy up at Alabama and let's reinstate him. Let's reinstate him. Give him his job back. That's all. That's my take. Brian Hartman on our, and by the way, 865-200-5402. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix and in the hunt with us on the TLD Logistics phone lines, be glad to take your calls. Brian, just a matter of perspective on our baseball team, because, you know, Sean, we had a football season last year where we were saying, boy, we're tracking for a playoff, but it doesn't feel like a playoff. I distinctly remember having that conversation, which feels kind of silly now because making a playoff is making a playoff is making a playoff. And you don't give any of those seasons back. But, you know, we were saying that during the year. This thing, you know, we're in playoff contention, but this team, you know, and Nico and the offense and all those things. Brian, give me some perspective on this baseball season as we get ready to see the Arkansas series tomorrow.
At this exact same juncture in 2024, with 3 SEC regular season games left, Tennessee's overall record was 43-10, just 3 games better than this team. And this team could easily have won a couple more and been even closer to that record.
So you're telling me last year's World Series
last
team,
year's team was only 3 games better than this team, record-wise, overall. 43-10 to 40-13.
Sean Sinclair, now I got to ask you, do you feel this? Do you feel what Brian Hartman's saying, or does this team feel so far away from last year that it's like they're playing a different sport? Because I'll go first. I cannot believe that's a true stat.
It's the same league. It's a lot of the same players. As you said, it feels the same, but that's eye-opening for me because you take a look at the game at LSU where we gave it away.
Yep.
A couple of other games, I'm going to say here and go here this way. It's just that's very, very surprising because last year's team seemed dominant to me. This team seems to be duffing it all over the place. But the records are the records. And so I guess my takeaway from that is, everything in front of you, meaning your goals, is still attainable. You may just have to do it a different way.
If you look at some of the other teams around the league, nobody in the SEC has more than 41 regular season wins overall. Arkansas is 41-11. Texas is 40-10. Georgia's 40-13. They have number 1 RPI. They got the same record as Tennessee does. Tennessee 40-13 and LSU 40-12. And all at the top of the SEC near it.
Utterly wild, guys. Utterly wild.
So it might feel like it's really bad, and it has been. They've left a lot to be desired recently, but in the grand scheme of things, the Vols are right there with these other teams. Still.
Well, it's a sport of imperfection. The thing about the baseball team, though, that drives you crazy is they drive you crazy. And that is the thing. There isn't one particular thing. This team is maddening to watch. I mean, that Vanderbilt series, Sean, was crazy. Was some of the things they were doing on that baseball field were just like, what are we doing? And it snowballs on them. When it starts to happen to them, man, you can see it. Like Sean, let's think about it. That Friday night deal, were you up the LSU game? Did you stay up and watch that?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm up. When that first error happened, I looked right at Laura because it woke her up too. And I said, here it comes. Here it comes. Because with this team, you can feel it coming. You and I were talking about the Tanner Franklin, the home run he gave up, the sequence that led to that off the air. It's like a slow train coming at you, and you're just like standing on the tracks. Here it comes. And for some reason, it's so like mystifying you can't move when you're watching these guys. You're just like, okay, here it comes. Here comes the train. You knew that was coming, Sean. You just knew it. You knew he was going to give into that batter 0-2. You knew the pitch was going to be grooved there.
Well, the batter before did the same thing. It didn't quite reach the thing. I think it was Newstrom pulled it back, or he couldn't catch it, and then the next batter 0-2, same thing. So you go triple home run. Look, I'm not here to rip the kids. It's I'm getting, and I know you're not either. You've given them a platform that no one else has these past few months. So that spells your motivations right there. But what I will say is that momentum, even though Gary Danielson doesn't think it's true, momentum goes both ways. These kids, you can, just like you can tell that something's going to happen, it's in their head, and they're pressing, and it's, golly, if anyone's ever stood in front of a putt, hardly any consequence, and doesn't know how choking, those things happen, man, and you don't want to. But my thing with this team is the fact that they make the routine look difficult. I mean, it's if it weren't for an incredible seat, and I know he didn't catch a Coons pickoff play, but if it weren't for Andrew Fisher, I don't know how many errors our infield would have. A routine ball never would hit him in the chest if he didn't have a glove on. Never. Seemingly every ball skipped over there. But the other thing is true also is hitting's contagious. And once you get into a positive mindset, you get into it. This team hasn't been. I know they were 0-20, but let's get real. They were playing a bunch of Humpties. If they get
20
into a flow,
yep.
If they get now, are they as talented 1 through 9 as last year? I argue no. I mean, if you take a look at this team, I would give Hunter Inslee as a better player this year than he was last year. Doyle is as good as we've had since I've been watching Tennessee, and that's if you go. I mean, if you take a look at that, I mean, Stark and Peebles are kind of on par from the batter's box, but my perception was that Stark was a little more clutch and had a little bit more success on the thing. But if you go around that field, Dreiling, we don't have a Dreiling. If you think about Kavaris Tears, we don't have Kavaris Tears. I'm going to take Blake Burke. I'm certainly going to take Christian Moore. Curley at short is Curley at short. I don't know that he's playing even as well as last year. Amick over anybody at third. And then the pitching, the bullpen last year, though not heralded, was way more effective. So this is not even, people talk about the same team. No, it's not even close to the same team. Last year's team would truck this year's team, in a 3-game series. But that doesn't mean you can't win, and they certainly can. Arkansas swept Texas. Missouri went to A&M and swept those clowns.
Crazy sport, man.
And the thing is that once we get if we host or don't host the first round, we're not playing an SEC team. And getting out of this conference may be a great leveler for us. And regardless, you're going to play an SEC team in the super regionals just because so many great teams there are this year. So whether you got to go away or you stay here, it's okay. We're going to be fine. The worst we can do is 500 in this league, and that's not what you want to do. But the thought is, I want 2 or 3 at home and 1 or 3 on the way, and anything else is gravy. Well, that's a 500 team. The worst we can do is 500 in conference this year.
It's wild, though, with the standards been set here. One of the things, again, Matt Dixon pointed out today over at tclub.team, 6 years with 40 wins. 6 straight years with 40 wins. That is insane how good that consistency is. Most teams, when they win the College World Series, the next year, like Sean said, you lose all those star players, and you lost a ton of them. Most teams come back with a 30, 32 win type year and are home. Brian, how many wins does A&M have overall right now? Do you know? Could you see that anywhere? Because they're going to be sitting at home. Unless they do something like extraordinary in the next week and a half, they're going to be sitting at home. And they were the runner-up last year. And by the way, they had basically the same baseball team that they had last year. Now, they had a couple injuries.
A&M is 27-23, 10-17 in the league. So 27 overall wins for them.
And that's the point. Now, some of you would say, well, where would Tennessee be without Doyle? Well, they have Doyle. That's just like the Rick Barnes critics that want to call up and go, well, what would happen without Lanier? They went and got Lanier. I mean, what does that even mean? Where would you be without what? Okay. Well, you could say that about anybody. You could say that about any team. So I'm just pretty appreciative of this run. I do find this version of Tennessee baseball maddening and frustrating because they just don't do sound things on a baseball field. But I have faith and confidence that this team's either going to go pretty quickly in the tournament. If they get to a super regional after winning it all last year, that is a tremendous accomplishment. Some of you don't want to hear that. Kind of like Throat gives me a hard time, Orange Throat does, for saying that if this football team goes 9-3 this year, that is a terrific season. You lose your quarterback, walks out the door after spring practice, with as playmaker challenged as you are on your football team, and you go out and go 9-3 in the SEC, and I know the schedule's not great, but that would be a great result. A great result from here. Great result. Let me share something. A couple things. And then we'll wrap it up on a Monday. And if you want to jump in, we don't have any, our lines are wide open. But not really a day where we're kind of begging for phone calls. Let's put it that way. A lot to discuss here. Ross Dellinger has the following. Now, as part of this alleged settlement that's allegedly coming down the line, which I don't know whether it's coming or not, that everybody's getting ready for, and they have to get ready for it. Danny White and everybody involved, and Adam Sparks wrote a really interesting piece. We ought to try to get Adam on to talk about this. Adam's message is, it's one thing to say I want to be in everything school, but if they enact this thing from Dilute Toish, you can't be in everything school. You're going to have to choose. You're going to have to pick and choose among those four sports that we generally talk about here: women's basketball, the men, football, and baseball. You're going to pick and choose your winners and your losers. You're not going to be able to feed every mouth. And that's Adam's point. And the further down the food chain you go with your athletic department, the more picking and choosing you're going to have to do. And I think that's a really, really good point that Adam has. However, I do not and have not thought from day one that this House thing is going. It might get settled, and they might try to enact it. It ain't going to see the light of day, though. I hate to tell Danny White and these people, this ain't going to be it. It might be something, but it's not going to be this. Why? Because it's not legal. It's not legal. It's not legal. Here's the deal. Dilute Toish went to, this from Ross Dellinger. I got two things for you. And Sean, I want your thoughts on this as somebody that follows recruiting and knows the significance of this. There's two pieces here. In a meeting with Deloitte officials, that's going to be the clearinghouse for this thing, allegedly, when it happens. They are a accounting firm who are going to be tasked by the NCAA, real financial windfall for these people. They're going to be the people that decide that's a real deal, that's not a real deal in NIL. That's real NIL, that's pay for play. No, you can't do that. That's this, that's... It's going to be a complete mess. I mean, if they go this route, Dr. Danny and the gang, it's going to be a total, complete mess. In a meeting with Deloitte officials, Ross Dellinger, at ACC spring meetings, the company shared with AD's coaches some interesting figures on the NIL clearinghouse. Because that's what we're going to call this thing. 70%, Sean, of past deals from boosters from collectives would have been denied. 70%. So, Nico, I'm never going to leave you. There's no way in hell, because that was pay for play. There's no way in hell that gets through a clearinghouse right now. Let's just put it that way. How many, Sean, how many commercials did you see Nico on during his 2 years in Knoxville? How about you, Brian?
I don't recall one.
Okay. So the answer is 0. 90% of the deals from public companies would have been approved. Now, what does that mean? Let's go a little deeper here. A little known asset. This is from John Wilner. And thank you to Maury Hanks for tipping me off to this. Special Assist Momo, who's watching this going, what are these people doing? We're all doing this, okay? A little known aspect, Sean, of the House settlement. You ready for this, Sean?
Yes, sir.
Publicly traded companies are exempt from fair market value oversight by the NIL clearinghouse. In other words, if you are on the NYSE or NASDAQ and you enter into deals with these players, or you're the one doling out the money to them, you are exempt. This does not count against you. How in the hell do you arrive at that? While you're saying to everybody else over here, you got to prove it to me. And John Wilner opined, Sean, boy, it sure is going to be good to be Oregon in that new era. Because Phil Knight and those people in Beaverton are going to be able to make it rain in all their sports. And it's not going to have any oversight, Sean. Your thoughts on how idiotic, just not even the implementation of this, just the way it sounds, Sean.
Not one time in any of this I've heard an interview, seen a quote, seen a picture of somebody that's representing the players. Never. I haven't seen. I've heard more from Ed O'Bannon in the past 20 years than I have heard recently about anybody with all this stuff going on that represents the players. And the courts have made it perfectly clear that in this country, you cannot cap income on anyone unless there's collective bargaining. So they can say, I mean, it's the biggest farce in the world. And I don't know why this is the emperor with no clothes. This is the wizard behind the curtain or something like that, where everybody knows it's a joke. This is pay for play. This absolutely is pay for play. A high school top offensive tackle just selected the University of Miami from Missouri. He chose Miami over Georgia and Oregon. Okay. Tell me it's not the money. And he's going to be making north of $2 million a year. That's pay for play. No company sitting there thinking, I can't wait to get this 18-year-old kid from Missouri. No offense.
Nobody knows his name. Nobody knows his name.
To talk about the latest Ray-Ban.
Nobody knows his name. And nobody will know his name. And there's nothing,
it always has been.
And by the way, Sean, there's nothing wrong with it. So why don't we just call it what it is and cut all this nonsense out and sign these people to guaranteed contracts and quit putting your fans through this?
Exactly. And quit. And look, NCAA, quit asking Congress to do the heavy lifting that you refuse to do. You got yourselves into this mess. It may not have been, it may not have been Danny White. It may not have been the president of the NCAA right now, but they represent the lineage that brought us here.
Well, here's the thing.
And when they went in front of a court and paid millions of dollars to PR firms to come up with the term student athlete,
right,
just so they could massage the court's opinions and keep their antitrust situation, it's all been a farce, and it's all been a look. I think it's silly right now. I think it's stupid. There has to be guardrails. The biggest guardrail is being withheld by the NCAA and the colleges because they don't want to treat kids as employees, and that's exactly what they are.
And here's the thing, Sean. For them to allow into this House settlement a deal where, oh, yeah, if it's a publicly traded company, we're just going to look the other way. What? What? You tell me how any of that makes any sense. Any of that. And then you show me the next booster in any of these sports when a coach wants a player and a player wants a coach that's going to stand down and say, well, you know what? It's against the rules. I'm not going to do that. You know, all these people are going to do, if this thing goes through, which it's not going to go through, they're going to pass it. They're going to try to implement it. Somebody's going to take them to court, and it's going to strike it all down. And we're going to be right back to square one. And it's going to happen before the fall's over. It's going to happen. But the fact that we have to talk about this right now is totally idiotic. It's about as idiotic as what happened with Nico. I'm never going to leave you. Who just, the family, and they're making 1/3 of the money. 1/3. Oh, Tony, it's a half. You do your California taxes? As they say in the church, are you kidding me? I mean, that's crazy. But here's the thing. Nico made $2 million here. And Sean and I keep it real. He got paid to play here. And I'm for it. I'm for Spire. I'm for James Clausen. I'm for those guys. I mean, it is what it is. It's 2025. Nico did, are you ready for this? 0 advertising here locally. Hunter Ensley, you know what he's doing? Real NIL. You know when you go drive downtown, you see him on the Calhoun's billboard. That's what this was supposed to be. That's what the whole O'Bannon case was about. But these people figured out a loophole. We're going to pay these guys. To Sean's point, paying an offensive lineman $2 million, you're paying him for what? For his marketing rights? Do you know how many people on South Beach, if you walk that kid down there, even after he played 2 years at Miami, Sean, if you walk that kid around South Beach, what percentage of people would know who he is?
Well, I think that you got an example of that. Francis Managua, whatever.
Managua.
2 years ago, he was
a
top
Hang
guy.
on.
Same thing.
Hang on, I'm over on illegal. Let me keep it live and legal here.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
And so the point is, there is no point. The point is, there is no point.
I don't even know why you have a signing
TLD
day
Logistics Overdrive.
Why you sign what, Sean?
Presented by TLD Logistics.
I don't know why they have a signing day anymore.
At tldlogistics.com.
That's so true. Why we have
Why don't you just have when you come up to your, because coach said something the other day and it just made me even less interested in recruiting right now. I couldn't tell you who's on, and this is ridiculous for me.
Right.
I couldn't tell you who's a Tennessee commitment right now. I couldn't tell you who they're bringing in. I have no clue. I don't even know who this guy that's just committed to Miami. I should know him like the back of my hand. I'd never heard of the guy. I'm disinterested. They shouldn't have a signing day anymore. What's the point? Just as soon as you reach your agreement, just like any other businessman, just sign.
That's so true. Well put. And what are you signing anymore?
Well, you're not. You're just signing something that says, for tomorrow at least, I'm going to represent your team. I mean, here's another thing people talk. Remember when we went through the arms race? Well, we've got a lazy river in our training complex. Yeah. We've got an octagon and a barbershop.
Yeah.
We got UFOs that'll bring you a Subway in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Kids don't care. All they care about is 1, how big is the bag? 2, am I going to be on TV? And 3, are you putting guys in the pros?
That's it.
And then the biggest farce of all is, and I love these guys, but the biggest joke of all to me, and I don't begrudge them, but is guys that were okay college players wanting to stick around because it's financially more viable for them because they don't have professional opportunities. And then guys coming back potentially, again, I still don't, the biggest thing to me is why couldn't a guy that's gone to the NFL come back and play college football and you tell me, well, he's a professional. Every single player on scholarship is a professional right now.
That's exactly right, Sean. If they don't pay these guys and form a union with them, that's exactly what's going to happen. Somebody's going to sue to come back.
They don't want to do it because they don't want to deal with injury lawsuits.
Because they're greedy.
They don't want to. They don't want to deal with payroll taxes.
That's right.
They don't want to deal with anything. That's all on the college.
That's right.
They could easily do. You could, just like Ed O'Bannon, the EA Sports and all that. You could get a collective bargaining representative for the players. Wouldn't be that difficult.
Hey, Sean, Danny White's got about 5 million lieutenants. Making what Mike Hamilton and I don't
begrudge Danny White's a guy.
No. Listen to me. I'm not talking about Danny White. These major college schools, if you look at the Rick Barnes' bench, they got about 50 coaches back there. Okay, coaching one college basketball game. How many analysts do you think in your day? How many analysts did they have in football helping Johnny Majors? Was that even a thing?
There were 2 GAs. 1 for offense and 1 for defense, and that's it. There were no analysts.
How many guys now, Sean, you think they have on these bloated payrolls?
I don't know, but I will say this. It's surprising to me because when I'll watch a clip from one of these internet sites showing practice, it appears that in any one given time, you have 3 volunteer or paid coaches for each position.
It's total overkill. That's what we've done.
Overkill.
Total overkill. You mean to tell me within the apparatuses of these universities, the SEC, ACC, and Big 12, where they all do this, you can't find somebody to balance the books for these kids and keep the payroll and pay them? And look, you can pay them as independent contractors even, but you got to, at some point, get in a room with them and say, this is what we're doing.
Another thing is the was my coach makes $10 to $12 million a year. He's so tied up. We got to hire him a general manager at $1 million a year clip to ease it. What are you talking about?
You don't like that idea?
It's never been easier than now to be a college football coach. You don't have to break down film anymore. You got professional things like PFF and all these other outside agencies breaking down film. You can have any scenario you want to look at on any player on earth within 5 minutes. You got any kind of every kind of recruiting service. You don't have to go beat the bush in your old Buick, taking a puddle jumper here and there, jumping a plane, driving 2 hours. On any given second, you can pull up any high school film you want. You don't have to go and establish 6 month to a year relationships with a grandmother. All you got to do is go call a guy that owns a big company and say, dude, I need $1 million. It's never been this just nonsense about how difficult college football coaches are. How many people are on payroll over there doing the job? I don't begrudge anything. There's a lot of pressure. Sure,
you're
making about it. $10 to $12 million a year. You almost have as many analysts and support personnel as you do players. You've got all these outside subscriptions doing a la carte jobs that people used to do before, and you're bitching and moaning because you can't go on vacation in the summer. Take that crap out of here, man.
That is so. That is. Compared to what it used to be, you are absolutely speaking the truth. That is the truth. It's a crazy age. It's just a nutty age. Sean, they keep pushing this. My understanding on the House settlement is the Livy Dunns of the world and the people like that don't think that the NCAA is dug deeply enough financially. They want more money from it, and I don't blame them. I don't blame these people in the past who have been watch these coaches get rich in all these sports, and they want a bigger piece of the pie. They want it to hurt more for the NCAA. But here's the thing, and this is something to watch. For instance, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with these basketball players, 100 or so of whom are out of eligibility and went into the transfer portal. Now, Tennessee still has some open slots. And I believe they still, and I'm talking about basketball now, and I believe they have open slots because they want to wait to see what's going to happen, invariably, with that pool of players. I believe, in my research, in the past week or so, I believe that there is a move afoot as part of the pending House settlement. The latest draft, the NCAA snuck in a clause. That's what they're doing. That will mute the opportunity for the, let's just say, the Gainey, the Zieglers, those types of people to play another year. They want to put this in this settlement. Now, here's the deal. As long as the Livy Dunns of the world and the people that are holding this thing up continue to hold it up, the better chance you will see of these guys coming back. Because inevitably, if it's not settled in that suit, it's going to be settled in court. Now, it could get settled in that suit. This is what's tricky about it. It could get settled in that suit. And the reason it could get settled in that suit is that this is being collectively bargained for all these athletes. So it's another reason, Sean, that you're talking about for certain members of this body to stand up and go, no, we're against this now. Because you should not be lumping these guys in with us. Because that is what's going on. The NCAA here, in this latest installment of the House settlement, is trying to pull a fast one on these guys that want a 5-year deal, a 5th year. And I understand the reason they don't want to open the 5-year seal is, Sean mentioned it, it's going to open up 6 years, 7 years. Bounce back players. What's a bounce back player? The guy who won the Blitnikoff Award is getting ready to be in the spring league. That's what's getting ready to happen to him. Our guy. Okay? And it's weird to see that. It's how sports work. Some guys work at the pro level. Some guys don't. Who knows why? If we knew why, you wouldn't have drafts. Drafts are speculative, and who knows? The best organizations continue to find players, even though the other ones pick above them. It's bizarre, but it's how it works. And so they don't want to open the seal. The courts, if they can't get this House settlement through, the courts are going to open the seal for them. Mark my words, that is exactly what's going to happen. So the next couple of weeks with this House settlement thing, the latest incarnation has in the language something that would take a potential 5th year off the table for several of these, a few hundred, 100 or so, or a few hundred, whatever the number is. But it's more than just a couple that have gone into the transfer portal. Nobody's talking about this, but just because nobody's talking about it doesn't mean that it's not reality. The reality is the NCAA in the last I will say incarnation of this potential settlement has introduced that. It's pretty interesting, Sean, what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it is. But I wonder when it starts to become player on player.
That's right.
Lawsuit.
That's what we're talking about.
Take this scenario.
Yeah.
Take this scenario. Let's say you give this opportunity for the Jordan Gainies of the world. I have nothing against Jordan Gainey. I'm kind of a 4-year. If you want to be 5-year, fine. I'm not for bounce back. I'm not for any of this stuff. I think that's the beauty of college. It's always changing, and we move on. And there's new faces. So potentially, if you have guys that are sticking around for another year, and I get it, they potentially could make more money in college than they could in professional. I think that says something about their ability. We'll leave that alone. However, why wouldn't there be a lawsuit from potential graduating seniors in high school saying, hey, wait a second. The player of Jordan Gainey's ability that's had 4 years there, if he comes back, potentially every guy and girl that was going to graduate this year, we don't get that same kind of lucrative opportunity at that school. We've got to go to a non-Power 4 school to get our education. We got to go to an NAIA school where they don't have the same opportunities. Wouldn't they have a legitimate case?
Sure. And to further extract,
you're going to have player-on-player crime here.
And player-on-past-player crime, because how about this?
Absolutely.
How about this, Sean? So the Gainies, the ZZs, there are several guys. The Chad Baker Mazzara, there are a bunch of different people out there.
Azuna, okay? All those guys.
Yeah.
I'm very sympathetic for all those guys. I truly am.
But here's the thing. They all allegedly are going to benefit from this settlement that's about to happen. Their class is in this settlement. Okay? And the NCAA wants to pay him and go away and keep the lid on the 5-year deal. Because they know if we open this thing up, it's going to be potentially for us a complete mess. So now, like Sean's saying, you got the high school players that are going to be denied spots. There's no question that's true. It's all about opportunity and restriction of opportunity, and it's all a numbers game. There's only so many spots on any of these rosters. And so, the baseball is a good example. When you talk about Next year, Tony Vitello's apoplectic over this. He's like, well, how did they arrive at 34 players for a baseball roster, for a college baseball roster? He said 34 players. He said, right now, how many do they have right now, Sean? Like 40, 42? What's the number?
I don't know, but by his reaction, I'm assuming it's more than that.
Yeah, it is more because he's like, well, who's going to come out and pitch our midweek games? And, I mean, they didn't. He tells me off the air, they didn't consult any of us. They just said nilly-willy, 34. That's your number. There are so many reactions that are going to be caused by this action that's getting ready to happen. I'm telling you, they're going to take something that's already kind of a mess, and they're going to somehow make it messier. This idea to get Duluth Toys involved in this is literally moronic. Imagine, Sean,
well, the big thing on that is that everybody knows that the haves will get the have and the have-nots will get the have-nots.
And these are bright people, Sean.
The NIL, no, Deloitte and whatever, they're not telling Ohio State your guys' thing isn't covered. It's not going to happen. They're not telling Alabama, Texas, Oregon, your thing's not happening. Just like they do, they'll jump on someone at St. Mary's or Butler or Cleveland State.
Yeah.
And they'll do that. Or they'll do someone of and I hate it. No offense, Mississippi State.
They'll kill them.
They'll go to someone like, they'll kill them.
They'll kill them.
No, I'm sorry. The kid could sign for $2 million at Miami, but everyone knows that Miami has more things they have more eyeballs on the markets down there than you do have in Starkville. So no, that's ridiculous. It'll always, anytime you get something like that, it's always finessed on the front end and manipulated on the back end.
I was telling Tony last week after having Alberto Ozuna on that the NCAA just loves to punch down. That's my take of them, watching them down through the years. The old joke was Jerry Tarkanian's cheating, let's go get Cleveland State. The latest example of that is God knows what's going on in the Big Ten and the SEC with these schools. When's the last time you've heard about an APR, graduation rates, anybody getting in any kind of academic trouble? They went last week and picked on, I think it's Kent State. I think that's who they went after for APR violations. What in the hell is an APR violation in 2025? How?
Yeah, or like the unequal justice. Look, and these guys were bozos, and I know we like them, but Donnie Tyndall and Jeremy Pruitt just stricken from the record.
Murdered them. They murdered.
And then you got Will Wade on FBI tape saying we gave one hell of an offer.
Yeah,
I mean, caught dead to rights in the crosshairs. Nothing's going on there. You get all these other coaches to get show causes, and then the little known secret was that a powerhouse program from the SEC, when their coaches got caught cheating, it was wink, wink, nod, nod. Go into the NFL for a few years and then come back, and then we'll never announce a show cause. Nothing's going to really happen to you. That happened over and over and over to our friends south of the border here.
You're right. Alabama would have, under the old days, would have assistant coaches that got caught cheating, and Saban would place them in the NFL for 2 years, and they would come back.
Absolutely. Happened all the time.
As absolutely 1,000%. And he's bitching and moaning now. You know why Alabama's bitching and moaning, Sean? Because they don't have the big money to compete with the big boys in this league, but they had the little money to compete when it was about getting you a house and $100,000 here or there. They could do that all day long. But for some reason, North Carolina, some of these schools, Sean, are not equipped to do it in this age. It's really strange.
Well, not many of us are, unless you have a multi-billionaire benefactor. Just get if you can like it or not, but just get used to seeing Texas in every sport on top.
Hey, if the Haslams want to call me tomorrow And by my silence, I'll go off the air tomorrow. You write me a check for a few $1 billion, Sean. Goodbye.
Well, there you go. It's just
goodbye.
It's just
we're all for sale, baby.
There's not equal justice in the world. Like it or not, colleges and businesses are going to do this whole thing about. I mean, I know there's a certain aspect, but when you hear these college administrators saying, "Boy, I wake up and my mission is to do it for the kids," you are so full of shit you can't even see straight.
The kids.
You are so full of crap.
The kids.
You were doing it. You were, and the reason I know you're full of crap is because you got 47 backloaded bonuses. You know, if we win on a Wednesday when it's cloudy, I get $15,000 bonus. If I go 6-6, I get a $200,000 bonus.
Cinco, you could be my man. I love you. He's SEA in Sinclair, DDS, beautiful Maryville. We called it like we saw it right there. Little extemporaneous 20-minute. TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. Ain't nothing like it. Tomorrow, John Adams will be in the house. Tomorrow is day one of that Arkansas series. 2 teams in the last 11 baseball series that have won two series combined. 2 series combined, race fans. Now, it has been a wacko season.
A little public service announcement to Dave Van Horn and all those guys in Arkansas. If you want to see a national championship baseball ring, why don't you come on over to our dugout?
God, Tony ought to wear it. Thank you, Cinco. Tony ought to rock that thing tomorrow night. Put it right up in his face. Like Trapper John McIntyre when he fought that Marine. Stick that glove in his face, man. I love me some MASH, y'all. Basilio consumes some serious MASH. Favorite show of all time. Sorry. There will never be another. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, and I'll leave you with one final thought from the great Frank Burns. It's nice to be nice to the nice. Shout out to my friends at TLD Logistics, online at tldlogistics.com. Love your show, GBO. Peace on the strides. All right, let me, oh, man. Yeah, man. Woo! That was a fun show today. I like today's show. Got into a lot of things. Button here, because, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Wednesday edition. Yours truly. And let me hit the reset button.